What is up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about my everyday carry for 2023, and as a software developer, I feel like it's typically normal for me to carry around a lot of tech with me, but recently in the past 6 months, I've tried to kind of like de-techify my life, if that makes sense, and I've switched to a lot of analog things that will be replacing like the digital versions of them in this everyday carry. We'll see how that works out for this year, but I'm excited to try it out. With that being said, let's talk about the first thing, and that's gonna be my wallet. Now, I'm somebody who thinks that if you're carrying something with you every single day, it should be high quality, it should last a long time, and it should be premium. And I think my wallet reflects all of those things. My wallet is actually from Shinola, and if you don't know, Shinola is a brand based out of Detroit, which is near where I live, and they make high quality premium leather goods. They don't just do wallets, but they're very expensive, so I have a very select amount of things from them. Weirdly enough, I do have a Coke bottle that was specially made by them, and a baseball. Besides those things, I also have a wallet. Now, my primary wallet is this single fold slim wallet, and if you still have a bulky like tri or bifold wallet, trust me, you should try out one of these thinner, slimmer wallets. The specific wallet that I have has this kind of Z pattern ribbing on it, which looks really premium in my opinion, and the Shinola branding is on there, but it's not very visible. It's just visible enough where it doesn't really matter, but if you know what you're looking for, you can say, hey, that's a cool wallet. Now when the wallet opens up, there's a couple spots inside for your ID, a couple credit cards, and a little slot for something small. And I just keep a note from my fiance that she gave me like 5 years ago because I'm sappy like that. As for the credit card thing though, the limited slots doesn't really bother me because I've been trying to like minimize the amount of things in my life. So I actually only travel with 1 or 2 credit cards anymore, and all of my cards are pretty much digital on my phone. So if I need them in an emergency, they're there. Now, the fun part about this is I actually have a secondary wallet. I carry one wallet with me at a time, but I do switch out the wallets depending on how I'm feeling. The other wallet that I carry with me is also from Shinola, has a little more wear and tear, as you can tell by the coloring, but it's this no-fold wallet with quite a few spots for cards and things. Now this wallet has like about 4 slots, which are for credit cards or any cards really, one of which I carry my ID in, of course, but like I said, I'm trying to minimize the amount of cards I'm bringing with me, so I never really fill up all of the card slots on this. I just like the option of being able to choose between my single fold wallet and this no fold wallet, because I think they're both really premium and I want to use them both because I have them. This one also has my initials engraved on it, so that's kind of cool. I don't know, nice little touch. Now, like I said, Shinola also makes a whole other suite of products that I can't afford. So Shinola, if you ever want to do a brand deal with someone who lives in Michigan, one of your locations is like 15 minutes away from me. You know where to find me. But one of the other products that they do make is a notebook. And like I said, I'm trying to like de-digitize my life. So one thing that I've switched from doing is taking a lot of my notes on my computer or my iPad and moving them to be on a physical notebook. As a software developer, it can be really good for my brain to just be able to empty it onto a piece of paper. And I feel like the art of writing things down really helps me kind of like bring structure to those thoughts, because when I'm typing, I can just type super fast and just throw things down on a page as fast as I want to. But when I'm writing, I'm kind of like forced to write more concisely, or at least take a little bit longer to put down my thoughts. So I feel like I'm actually thinking through things before I'm writing them down instead of just like throwing away wasteless words on a page. The thing that I like about the notebooks from Shinola is they're only like 30 bucks, so they're not really that expensive compared to like any other higher quality notebook. They have really good line spacing. They have the thin lines, not those really stupid thick lines. And the outside of the notebook is really minimal, but it still has this really kind of nice texture to it with, of course, the Shinola branding on the back and that little rubber band thing that holds the notebooks together. All of this kind of comes together to feel like a really premium notebook that doesn't really cost that much money. Now, speaking of high quality items, I don't know if I can necessarily say the same for my Ray-Ban Clubmasters. These are like an everyday carry item that I literally bring with me everywhere. Even on cloudy days, I bring these with me. I just love them. I love being able to like hide behind sunglasses, but these specific Ray-Bans, I dropped them from literally like a foot off the ground and the frame of them cracked, and it was really sad. But I just kind of put some like construction glue on them and clamped them together and called it a day. And they seem to be holding up fine and they look really good, so I'm still fine with them. The thing that I like about these is they are the polarized version of the Ray-Ban Clubmasters, and something about the style of these I feel like is timeless. These have been around. I wore them the other day and my dad was like, I'm pretty sure I had a pair that was exactly the same as that with the gold rims, the black trim. And I think that's something that has stood the test of time for that long, is like a good fashion piece to carry around with you. And they're also really good sunglasses. For the longest time, I used like really cheap sunglasses that you got at like events at your college. So I finally decided to upgrade to a nice pair, and I haven't lost them, and it's been like almost a year. So proud of myself for that. And as for the crack, like in this B-roll, you probably haven't even seen that much, but I'm gonna try to focus on it just to kind of give you an idea of what the crack actually looks like. Unless you're like right up in my face, which is, you'd probably be at an uncomfortable distance anyways, you're really not gonna see it at all, so it's fine. All right, enough non-tech. Let's get into some tech stuff. And first up is this 1 terabyte amazing SSD from SanDisk. So these SSDs, I actually got my first one a couple years ago for Christmas from my dad. He's kind of weirdly like the first person to find a lot of these things, and this drive is super cool. So the reason I love this, and it's one of my everyday carry things, might sound weird for a hard drive, but I bring this with me everywhere because I actively edit from these drives. Those big, bulky, square ones are my long-term storage, but in terms of actively editing, I bring these little drives with me pretty much everywhere. In case I have a few minutes, I can throw it onto my computer, start editing, and tuck it away in my pocket when I'm done. Now, these drives do offer 1050 megabytes per second read and 1000 megabytes per second write speeds, and for just a little over $100, you can't really beat that. Now, of course, to be able to reach those read and write speeds, we have to have a USB Type-C connection, and in this case, it's a USB 3.2 Gen 2 connection. And all that really means is I can hook it up to my MacBook and work really fast from this drive with no adapters, which is amazing. Now, this drive also features a carabiner loop for easy traveling, and it's almost soft to the touch with its rubber exterior that somehow makes it feel premium and durable at the same time. I don't know how they did it, but I'm very happy with it. Now, if I had to point something out that I don't like about this drive, it's that the USB-C cable that it comes with is super short. Like, almost so short that I feel like I'm gonna break it anytime I'm really using this drive in any sort of way. I have to turn the hard drive at a 90-degree angle almost to like make myself feel that I'm like not gonna break it. Otherwise, it sticks out at an awkward length and just kind of dangles there. I feel like for how premium this drive is on everything else, the USB-C cable needs to be upgraded, and like a braided cable, a thin braided cable would probably be the answer to that, but we'll probably never see it. I have 2 generations of this hard drive and they've never changed it, so. And like I said, you could bring this thing with you anywhere. It literally fits in your pocket without a problem, even in like that weird small pocket that no one knows what it's for, it can go in there. You can even hold it up to like my Apple Watch Series 8 and it still looks tiny. And yes, I do have an Apple Watch Series 8, but I actually wouldn't recommend anybody actually buy this thing if you have a previous gen model. I literally only own it because I did a YouTube review on it, and in that review I basically said it's the exact same watch as like the 3 generations before it. I upgraded from a Series 5 and I really can't tell a difference in the watch or the quality or the speeds or anything, so yeah, I wouldn't really recommend it. My Apple Watch Series 8 has the aluminum finish and this kind of like black blue with the matching sport band. And I actually love my Apple Watch. I use it as a daily driver and I have pretty much for the past like 5 years. But the weird thing is I actually prefer analog watches. Talking about analog things in the first part of this video, I would prefer to use a higher quality analog watch, but there's 2 problems with that. I don't have enough money to buy the watches that I would probably want to wear, and 2, nothing beats the Apple Watch. Like the notifications, the workouts, everything on this watch, you just can't beat it. There's so much value that you get from having a smartwatch that I just can't find myself replacing it with anything anytime soon, unless like Rolex comes out with a smartwatch that somehow integrates seamlessly with the Apple iOS ecosystem, which I don't see that happening. Although it is like a Rolex brand, so Apple would do it. They did it with Hermes, I don't know. But I do bring my iPhone 13 Pro obviously everywhere with me. It's my phone. You need to have it every single day with you. I don't want to talk too much about like the phone because everyone knows about the iPhone 13 Pro, but I do want to talk about why I didn't upgrade from the 13 to the 14 Pro, and that's because for the same reason as the Apple Watch, there's not a lot of reason that Apple has been giving us in these past few generations. Besides the always-on display and the dynamic island, there wasn't really much incentive for me to upgrade from my 13 Pro to an iPhone 14 Pro. There's just not that much value that you get out of it. If I had maybe an upgrade or I just broke my phone, sure, of course I'd do it, but to pay more money to upgrade to essentially the same phone just didn't make sense for me. I think I've learned in the past like year that having the newest and latest and greatest tech isn't really going to be a priority for me anymore moving forward unless I really find a need for that thing. Now, of course, I still love the way that the iPhone 13 Pro looks. I think this body style with the flat edges and the finish just looks perfect. This is probably my favorite iPhone design, and I'm gonna be really sad. There's been rumors that they're bringing back the rounded edges. I'll be very sad if they do that. I don't think that looks good at all. I don't think it looks premium. The current finish and design of the new Pro models has just looked so good that I think they should keep it for a long time. Another thing that I want to bring up is the usage of ProRAW. I've been using ProRAW to take a lot of pictures recently, and this is kind of embarrassing. I didn't know that you had to like turn on Pro RAW. I just thought that pictures taken on Pro model iPhones like immediately were Pro RAW images. I didn't know it was a setting you had to turn on. Finally figured that out. I've been taking a lot of pictures with this, and I just find that the quality is pretty amazing for what you're taking the picture with, if you think about it. Because my mirrorless camera that I'm filming this on, it needs a whole setup, it needs adapters, I need to put LUTs and color grading and everything to kind of make it look like a normal picture straight out of the camera. This kind of does everything for you. Now, of course, I throw everything into Lightroom when I do some post-processing, but I find that the images taken out of this aren't really that weird. Like, even for Sony cameras, it's kind of known that Sony can't really do skin tones unless you're editing them in post. Everything I've taken with my 13 Pro looks pretty natural. I wouldn't say there's anything that's wrong with the pictures taken with Pro RAW, except that they're massive, like 50 megabytes or more per picture. So if you're taking Pro RAW pictures, watch your iPhone storage. I learned that very quickly. They're huge files. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about, and the thing I probably have the most complaints about, which is weird because my video about it was a raving review, are my AirPods Pro 2. These things are garbage. Like, I don't know if anybody else has this problem. When I use my AirPods Pro 2, I have so many issues now. In the first week or 2 or 3 weeks, no issues. They were perfect, everything was great. And I would love for someone to leave a comment on how to fix these. I've reset them. I've kind of done everything you can do besides return them. So a couple issues I have with them. One, I'll put in both and then they'll turn on their noise canceling, and you get this kind of like weird feeling in your ears and you can tell it's on. And then one of them will like turn off the noise canceling or disconnect or something. So then the other one thinks that it's the only one connected. So then that will turn off, but then the first one will like reconnect. And then I have like noise canceling in one ear and not in the other. And I have to take them out and put them back in for it to work. And then the other thing is that when I put them in, sometimes they both connect, but then it's this almost weird in between where it's not noise canceling, but it's not fully off. So like it's just like muted. So then I have to hold down the stem, turn off noise canceling, turn it back on, and then it fully sounds like it's noise canceling everything. I don't know if that's just me, but these things have kind of been a pain to deal with. The third thing is that the battery on these is awful. My assumption is that it's actually draining the battery while they're in the case, because there's been many times when I will put these away and then like after the gym, and then the next day I'll go back to use them and they're fully dead. The case and the AirPods are fully dead. So my solution to that has been just disconnecting and reconnecting the AirPods completely from my phone and from my account. And that seemed to work every now and then, but just the fact that I have to do that with these new ones when my V1s didn't do that, these have kind of been a disappointment. They sound great, but for the technical issues they're having, probably not worth it, but they're just too small and too convenient to not bring with me everywhere. So that's gonna be the last item on my everyday carry for 2023. Let me know what you think. I'm very interested because I try to minimize the amount of things I'm bringing with me everywhere. So you'll notice I didn't include my iPad or my laptop. I don't really bring those with me everywhere. I, obviously put this in my bag when I'm traveling or when I'm going to coffee shops, things like that. But in terms of what I'm actually bringing on me every single day, these are the things pretty much on me at all times. And yeah, I'm curious what you guys think. Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.